Hello and welcome back to the Andrew Plays channel, chapter 5 of Breaking Point. We've had a bit of a break for the last couple of weeks, but we are back. And while the grid, bit of a grammar check needed their Codemasters, heads to Monza, the team at Racing Point have managed to find some welcome consistency during the second half of the 2020 season. Both drivers are hungry to gain ground in competition, but Aiden Jackson is determined to outperform his teammate Casper Ackerman, both in the standings and in the eyes of the team.
I'm not sure if it's something to do with the energy storage. I'm losing power on the straights.
Right. And you said the acceleration was okay? I'll take a look at it.
And how are we today, chaps? Everything running smoothly, I hope.
All right, Brian. Yeah, we're just going through a few last-minute tweaks.
Ah, that's what I like to see. With dedication like that, maybe you'll be able to get us back a few more of those points, eh?
Yeah, I'll try.
Actually, Aiden, I'm glad I've caught up with you. Thought you might like to know. I had a call this morning from Toto Wolff. Mentioned you directly.
Oh.
I think they're sniffing around for next season. You're being watched.
So, no pressure then?
So, what's the problem with the car?
I'm losing power on the straights. It's not a massive issue. I'm sure we can deal with it.
Yeah, theoretically, do we have time to install the Spec 2 unit before the race?
Yes, boss.
And Casper's reporting no problems?
No.
Okay, let's do it. Put the Spec 2 in Aiden's, would you?
Well, that would sort it. I mean, if you're sure.
Of course. You could do with a little boost. A little boost. Besides, anything for our star driver. Casper, how are you today? Feeling good about the race?
Well, that was awkward. Not our fault, but you know. So, what have we got here? Trackside interview. We've got a call first.
Brian.
Aiden, I'm glad I've caught you. Listen, don't worry about Casper.
Let me stop you there. Brian, Casper's the furthest thing from my mind right now. I've got a race to focus on.
Good man. In the garage just now, that was my fault. I know how he can be.
What, childish? Self-centered? I'm sick of it, Brian. He's been on my case ever since I joined the team. He needs to grow up.
Okay. You just leave Casper to me and get your head in the race. Let's put that new power unit to good use, eh?
Sure thing, Brian. See you on the other side.
So we've had a couple of changes of plan in the weekend build-up with the interview. Nothing that really matters for us. And the attachment is nothing special. The Devon's in the details. Devon Butler came across as serious without ever being honest. I'll be continuing my success with Alfa Romeo next season. If it ain't broke, why fix it? What success, lad? But let's head to the race. So Jackson looks to take full advantage of his car's new power unit to the vexation of his teammate Casper Ackerman. With the grid set, his focus locked in, Jackson is eager to show Ackerman why Racing Point signed him.
Welcome to Monza, where the crowd are ready for today's action, and we hope you're ready to see the world's best drivers fighting it out for that #1 spot. It's time for the Italian Grand Prix. With top speeds up to 215 miles per hour and an average lap speed of around 155 miles per hour, Monza's reputation as one of the fastest circuits in the sport is well earned. We have 11 corners on this 3.6-mile track, with the best overtaking chance coming into the heavy braking zone of the Turn 1 chicane. Here we are then, Monza, the 90th time this event has been held, so a special year for F1 fans, particularly the Italians, who are rightly proud of this event and its heritage.
Yeah, it always feels a bit special here, doesn't it, Crofty? Hamilton holds the joint record with Schumacher for number of wins here at 5 apiece, but could snatch it outright today with a 6.
Nearly 100 years of history here, so let's see what this year holds in store for the Italian Grand Prix. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and it's Valtteri Bottas that completes the front row. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Ackermann, Carlos Sainz, and Kvyat, Norris, Ricciardo, Gasly, and Alexander Albon, Ocon, Leclerc, Antonio Giovinazzi, and Butler, Vettel, Grosjean, George Russell, and Aiden Jackson, Magnussen, and Nicholas Latifi. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Right, let's see if we can squeeze some performance out of this new power unit. Good luck out there today.
Okay, so we're going to go and steal a setup from the workshop, which takes me a moment to actually load in. We're going to go for a medium to soft strategy, with my plan being similar to France, where we can go for the undercut. And then here we are on the grid. We're starting in 18th. We've got to beat Ackermann, who is starting in 4th. We do, however, get quite a good start as we get alongside Grosjean, but then he gets ahead of us, gets out our way. We go for a massive dive bomb into turn 1. That gets us all the way up to 11th place. And then we start to pull away from Gasly. We're already behind Ocon in 10th. So fantastic start there. And as we come down towards the next chicane, we don't go for anything into that. I think anything would have been a bit risky there. But we're just going to follow Ocon through and keep an eye on Gasly behind us. It really threw me off multiple times in this race, seeing last year's AlphaTauri. Just for the fact that obviously we're now used to seeing the new, like the 2021 AlphaTauri in my team. It really confused me here. But as we come down into Parabolica, we are about 4 tenths behind Ocon going into the main straight. We've used up all our ERS that we're allowed for that lap. And then you can see here as we go into the turn 4 and 5 that we've got a three-way battle here really for 8th place between Ocon, Norris and Albon, and we're trying to get involved in that battle, but we're also watching behind us for Gasly, who's going for a look up the inside. It's actually cost him the place against Leclerc, and then here I couldn't get the car back. If I hadn't cut the corner, I was going straight into the wall. We take the corner cutting warning, and we are benefiting from it as we go for a dive on Ocon into Parabolica and into 10th place.
Nice work, that brings you up a place.
And of course, into the points. DRS though, allowing Ocon to come back at us. And can we hold him off? We go for a dive bomb. Not really a dive bomb in that scenario, to be fair. But through turns 1 and 2, we come out ahead of Ocon. But again, he's coming back at us. And we've got to be careful because battling with Ocon could cost us time on Norris and of course Ackermann, who's our target to beat today. But we get a very good exit. Nearly lose the back end out of turns 4 and 5, but we pull away a little bit from Ocon. Without that losing the back end, we would have been well away. And then down this DRS straight, we know Ocon behind us has got DRS, so we're using our overtake mode to keep him behind us into Ascari, and relatively easy to defend from him there. And the exit from Ascari is fantastic as we put about 7/10 behind
We're
us.
approaching the pit window. You'll be on the softs.
Of course, we're going to be pitting on lap 6, so not too much to worry for us at the moment. And then lap 5, you can see there's chaos ahead. We nearly get taken out by Lando Norris. I don't know what happened. I tried to get it on a replay. Perez went for an overtake on Verstappen and lost the back end as he
We're gonna
did,
box this lap. Push hard on the in-lap.
which caused him to careen into the wall. Then Norris, in trying to avoid him, nearly collides with us. Does get us into 8th place, but we were very lucky to escape that crash. As I say, tried to get it on the replay, but I wanted to navigate the chicane first. I don't like pausing halfway around the corner. Didn't. By that point, the replay showed me over as I was going past Ocon. And then into turn 4 and 5, we're starting to try and close down Ricciardo. But we are also due to pit on this lap. Ackerman has dropped down to 5th, which may have been something to do with the Perez crash. Maybe that's who he was going for an overtake on, in fact. Quite possibly. As we come down towards Ascari once again, you can see about 4.5 seconds gap to Ackerman. We have now pulled away from Ocon, which I think is just where the soft tyres are coming to the end of their stint. Obviously with the short races in braking point, only 25%. You'd never really see the hards get used in this for any reason. But into the pit stop we go. And we get a very good pit stop. 2.1 seconds. So fantastic for us there. Where is it going to bring us out? It's going to bring us out in a lot of open air.
Stop. No more scheduled pit stops.
Because you can see Norris still coming down the main straight. Later in the lap though, you can see now we've got about a 10-second gap ahead, but on the minimap you can see the pit stops. Ackerman has stayed out, which means he is third, but those softs are going to be worn. 26-second gap, but the pit stop in there will make it very close when he does come out of the pits. As we come down here, we fly past all the guys in the pits, and we end up just behind Ricciardo coming into turn 1, which shows that the medium soft has worked very well for us, because going into the pit stop we were about 3.5 seconds down on Ricciardo, and with the fresher softs we should be able to get past him relatively soon, I would hope, as we come through turns 4 and 5 and into these two right-handers. Don't quite nail them as I'd like to, but we are in DRS range on Ricciardo. And we open the DRS flaps. You can see on the minimap one of the Mercedes pitting now. We're a little bit too far back from Ricciardo to get him into Ascari. Ackerman there.
Casper is coming in for his stop.
There's a confirmation that Casper is going in for his stop. As we come down the straight towards Parabolica, it's going to be very close when Ackerman comes out. However, he's going to be on mediums, we're on soft. Yes, the softs will go off a bit quicker, but if we can already be past Ackerman, we should be fine. We can see him there out of the pit stop just ahead of us. And we managed to get past Ricciardo. We're side by side with Ackerman, and we've squeezed Ackerman out of the position and straight out of the pit stop. We are up into 7th, and most importantly, beating Casper Ackerman. What's going to happen behind us with Ricciardo getting the best of Ackerman there? He does, so Ackerman drops down into 9th. Meanwhile, we are going to be having DRS on Sainz, and then Kvyat is only just ahead of him as well. And you can see the Red Bull going into the pit stop now, which I assume is the Red Bull of Verstappen. Again into Ascari, we're not quite close enough to Sainz,
We have 5 laps of fuel remaining.
but on the exit we just might be able to get something as we head into Parabolica. And what can we do against Sainz here? We get a brilliant exit out of the Parabolica. DRS is open for both of us, but we've got the overtake mode. We seem to be closing him down with the extra pace that the softs give us. The dive bomb down to gear 2, and we get the overtake on the outside of turn 2 to pass Carlos Sainz. Now this is lap 10, we're closing in on Kvyat here, and if you look at the time, as we cross the DRS line, we just about get into DRS range, which is going to help us defend from Sainz, and of course also close down Kvyat. I think here we're a bit too far away to go for a dive bomb. Do you see there? Consider it, but back out, and we're just going to follow Kvyat through on lap 11. However, we now have a chance where we're much closer after the curves in towards Ascari, but again not quite close enough, and it's not a great position for us to be to go for an overtake. However, out of Ascari, down the straight, if we can get the slipstream, I actually sit outside of it because I'm almost thinking about the DRS zone into Parabolica. We just stay behind him,
We've only got 2 laps of fuel left.
but then as on the exit of Parabolica, we're right on his back. We've got DRS. There's absolutely nothing Kvyat can do about that, and through into 4th place we go with quite a lot of ease down that straight. We just need to make sure we can pull away.
This is your final lap of the race.
And going into the final lap, we have pulled away not at all. Only 0.3 behind us, but with him not getting past us on the main straight, there's only one DRS zone for him to try and get past us. And that's going to be a very tough ask for him to do so. He didn't manage to do so. As we come into Parabolica, you can see Lewis Hamilton winning the Grand Prix. Kvyat down towards Ascari did get right on the back of us, as he did here as well. But we crossed the line in 4th.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
So a fantastic finish for the Racing Point.
Well, 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 quite the rivalry forming between the rookie Aidan Jackson and his veteran teammate Casper Ackermann.
Yeah, it reminds me a little bit of when Hamilton signed from McLaren back in 2007, and we all know how that one ended. Alonso returned to Renault pretty much the moment the season wrapped up.
Well, let's hope it doesn't come to that. And I can see the drivers starting to approach the podium for the victory celebrations. A real team victory today. Everybody played their part. Congratulations then to Mercedes, your race winners today.
So we finish in 4th in the end after a very good second half of the race. We came out on the softs really strong, and then by the time Ackermann pitted, we were right on his back straight away. We're going to jump into a
Good
cutscene
day
now.
today. Let's have your take on it. So it's a decent result for you today with a finish in the points. How are you feeling, Aidan?
Okay, so I'm not going to have a slight at Casper because, you know, things are already tense. I don't think that's necessary. So I'm going to say it went well. Points are points after all.
What could I say? It went well. And points are points. I'm really happy, and I think the team will be too. It's a good result here, so let's see if we can build on that for the next one.
A big talking point, irrespective of today's results, is how you've improved overall throughout the season. What would you say to that?
Yes, so we're going to credit the team for that. You know, we had some shaky starts when we first came in, particularly Australia, but the team supported Aidan through that, backed him, and it's paying off.
I couldn't do it without the support of the team. They've been incredible. I'm feeling looked after, and I couldn't ask for more. So any improvements are thanks to them.
It's funny you should mention the team as a whole. Can you give us an update? How is the current relationship between you and Casper Ackerman?
So we're going to tell a little white lie here. We're going to say we're fine. Driver relationships are always going to be tricky, but that way we're not putting the blame on him. It's just saying it's a bit of friendly competition.
Look, driver relationships are always going to be tricky. Individually, you're always pushing yourselves, and that can cause friction. I can't let anything like that worry me. Besides, we're fine.
Great. Well, that's everything.
So that's how I feel we should handle that, really. It looks like the next thing is going straight into Chapter 6. So we're going to end the episode here. If you have enjoyed that, please do leave a like down below. Comment what you think of the F1 content. Obviously, we had a My Team episode out this week as well. We're getting back to a bit more of a normal recording sessions at the moment because I'm back from a holidays. So hopefully we'll be back with a bit more consistency, as long as I can find the time to keep doing the F1. Obviously they are a lot longer to record than Football Manager is, but I'll do my best to keep it coming. And please do subscribe. Thank you very much for watching.